We're here this morning with trainer Jeremy Gask on one of his favourite horses, Toga Tiger. Jeremy, this horse has won 6 of his last 7 races. What's been the key?
Look, I think he's not necessarily an easy horse to train. You can see here when he's trotting on the treadmill, he's not the smoothest of going of horses. He's also quite fierce on the gallop, so he doesn't tend to look after himself well, whereas when we work on the treadmill here, he stays lovely and relaxed, and we can do exactly what work we want to do.
And these days, I mean, he's won 2 hat tricks now. How often are you galloping this horse now, Jeremy?
He would do nearly all of his work on the treadmill daily, and maybe as we give him a gallop at home here once a week at best. I would say we let him slide along.
But how are you getting him fit?
It's very easy on the treadmill. We monitor heart rates, lactates. It is a very, very easy and simple way to monitor exactly what's going on with the horse and how fit he is. We can work as long and as hard as we choose to.
And when you say it's hard, I mean, what sort of speed can you get up to?
He can get up to a galloping speed on here, so we would gallop him as well. So you can, again, basically replicate, not necessarily race conditions or a flat gallop on the gallops, but very near to it. And all I think he needs then is a bit of a sharpener on the gallops.
So, I mean, he can get up to what sort of speed on the treadmill can he get to?
Well, we get up to speed of about, you can get up to about 41, 42 kilometres an hour at an incline of 6%. We would work them on. So you're using the incline to create the work as well. So although we don't have to, the ground speed would not be quite the same as a gallop out in the field. The work that he's doing is definitely equivalent.
So if this horse is going 40 miles an hour, I mean, how relaxed is he at that speed? Are you comfortable with a horse going full speed on a treadmill?
Absolutely. It sounds hard. It's quite noisy, and the ground does. It sounds like the surface is quite firm. This horse doesn't handle firm ground, so the sound is largely from the hollow nature of the treadmill. So there is an echo that you're hearing. It's not actually firm. So this horse is perfectly comfortable. In fact, I find it works brilliantly for anything that is unsound. They seem far more comfortable on the treadmill.
And I can see obviously the benefit of having 10 stone off the horse's back. But what about not having a bit in the mouth and not using a girth? Although the fact that they have that help at all?
Yeah, I think all those things are beneficial. The fact that he hasn't got a saddle on his back, it can only be good in some respects. Although we're countering the weight by the elevation of the treadmill. I think where you can have such problems as ill-fitting saddles or riders being unbalanced on the horse, they can stay as balanced as they possibly can be. And you don't get any of those issues associated with saddle sores or girth rubs or things, all things that you don't really want anyway, or shouldn't have normally. But if you watch them on the treadmill and see the back muscles working, you will have no doubts when you see them on there that the treadmill will only be beneficial.
And why do you work?
Incline is really just to create an added work. It's like anything. If we were trying to work them at those speeds on flat ground, you would have to be working them a lot faster. So any time you can do the maximum amount of work with the least amount of stress, that's the aim of it.
And does it take any weight off the front legs or not?
Yeah, it does. It takes weight off the front legs, loads up the hind. I think one of the benefits of the treadmill going back to the field, you still have to give them a gallop. I think you've got to keep that memory, that muscle memory at speed on flat surfaces. So you can do an awful lot on the treadmill, but you do have to add a certain element of fast work on the field.
So with Toga, you're looking to get him one proper gallop between races. Is that what you're thinking is now?
Yeah, he only has a good sharp gallop, maybe once a week. He has won a couple of times without a gallop in between races, so he's just done purely treadmill work, but it just depends on when they're racing.
Okay, and then you mentioned the heart rate, so you're using the heart rates to see a maximum, or how does that work?
Not a maximum. We would never get to maximum on the treadmill, or rarely would we get to maximum. That's what I would leave that one good sharp gallop for. But even if they reach max, but no, we would be working to a zone or trying to work them to a specific area, slow work to a certain heart rate, and we're producing a certain lactate, and then threshold work where the meet between anaerobic and aerobic respiration works. So it's that period that we would then aim to get a heart rate somewhere in the vicinity of 200 on the average horse. Does vary from horse to horse, and of course lactates reflects that as well.
And so you're seeing that in real time, so you've got a monitor so you can see those heart rates being produced. And then what are you seeing as the horse warms down? What's the next sort of set of thresholds you look at?
Yeah, the recovery time is very important. Horses will recover very quickly on the treadmill because it's not a stressful environment. They don't tend to. This horse in particular is a very highly strung horse on the gallops. His heart rate wouldn't recover much below 130 a good while after the gallop, whereas on the treadmill he'll be back down from a heart rate of 200 down to 100 within a minute and a half.
Jeremy, thanks so much for your time. To be continued.